So Jenny, this is the second movie you've made with the director Gillian Robespierre, and the first one was Obvious Child. How many people have seen Obvious Child? And so how quickly did the two of you start talking about teaming up again?
Well, I think right away. We loved making Obvious Child, and it was the first time I had ever had any sort of substantial role in anything before. And it was her first feature, and it just was such an important emotional experience and came together so well that right away we wanted to do it again, but it takes a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think this is really the story of Gillian and Elizabeth Holm, her collaborator, of their childhood. They really grew up in the 90s in New York and are both children of divorce, and found out about their parents' divorces when they were both either 16 or 17. So really it's their story that we have lived in for a moment.
I have to say, the 90s details were so on point without drawing attention to them. I think the one that hit me the hardest was that foam chair that you were sitting on talking to the boyfriend.
Yeah.
Because I vividly remember playing like the Aladdin Sega Genesis game on one of those foam chairs. And I actually started playing it on the computer today at work, so tell Gillian thank you for
We'll
that
pass
trip
it
down memory
on,
lane.
yeah.
And Abby, how did you get involved? Was it just an audition, just the normal casting process?
Yeah, it was a normal casting process. I was sent the script and the sides through my agency, and then I flew from LA to New York for the audition, and I keep saying that it's 6 weeks in between, but apparently it was only 2 or like a week and a half, but I've like told many people that I waited 6 weeks because it felt like a very long time. But yeah, it was probably
There's a
like
time
2.
difference between New York and LA.
That's it. Yeah. But yeah, and then I flew back to New York, and then maybe like a week after that, I found out I got the part, and then came back to New York and had a read through and started shooting.
And Jenny, compared to Obvious Child, were you more involved with Landline just because you already had that collaboration in place?
Well, I would say I was a little more involved, although it sort of varies. Like with Obvious Child, Gillian had written a bunch of stand-up for my character, Donna Stern, to do. And because I started my career in stand-up comedy, really wanted to kind of be true to that art form. And it was really, really long, what she wrote, and sort of like stand-up in movies it can often really seem like it's not real stand-up. Yeah. So I ended up working with her on that, but mostly that she gave me bullet points and we improvised it on the day at 6 a.m. This time around, Gillian and Liz sent me the drafts, and they wrote this over about a year, I would say, maybe more. And there were different things we were trying to figure out, and I did have input, but I really wanted them to do their thing. Yeah. One of the things I like about being an actress is being free within myself while being obedient to someone else's artistic structure and impulse. I just find that to be that joining feels so good to me. So I didn't have much to say except for when it felt dishonest or that something was really being pushed, and honestly I just didn't feel that way that often. So.
And were you involved with the casting? Were you there for chemistry reads and all of that?
We didn't have any chemistry reads. I didn't get to meet Abby until we were there, but I saw her audition tape.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I saw videos of her singing, and we were all just obsessed with her the second that we saw her. And Abby's a really unique person. There's just nobody, just completely irreplaceable. We really lucked out. And Jay Duplass, I did not know, but I really love him on Transparent, and I think we followed each other on Twitter, and I DM'd him. So I did sort of handpick him, which seems, I don't know. I mean, men do it all the time. So yeah, and then the gods just gave us Edie and John.
Yeah, I mean, this cast is incredible.
Yeah.
And is it more daunting to show up on set not having had that audition process with a co-star, or is it freer and looser?
I think it's more daunting. I honestly, I like to audition for films. I do. I like to earn it. I am really afraid of someone just being like, oh, well, based on her body of work, I'm sure she could do this specific thing that we have here. Because you don't know how I'm going to show up. Maybe something happened to me and I can't do that anymore, you know? Like maybe, I don't know. I mean, to be honest, and when we were making this movie, I was getting divorced. So it was a very different from when they started writing it for me.
Yeah.
I was basically newly married when they started writing it for me. And it was incredibly hard.
Is that something that you are able to leave at the stage door, or do you fold it into the work?
Try to incorporate it into a graceful posture.
I think that's going to be the title of my memoir, A Graceful Posture.
Yeah.
That's good. And Abby, the first day on set, what was that like for you? Because you're walking onto a set with the Jenny Slate and Edie Falco and John Turturro.
It was scary. The first time I met them was at the read-through, and then we had a dinner. I don't know if it was before or after, but yeah, for like the first week or 2 weeks, I was just not like terrified, but I just was trying to stay in my place and just do my work because I didn't want to upset anyone like in the first 2 weeks. I don't know.
But after that, after the first 2 weeks.
I'm just with all of these people that I really respect and I really want to work with and have a relationship with after filming. And yeah, that was kind of my thought process, to do my work, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
How long did filming last?
23 days, maybe? I can't even tell if this microphone works. Does it work? Oh, okay. I think we were like about 5 weeks of filming with 5-day weeks.
Was that more or less than Obvious Child?
Less. Obvious Child was 18 days.
Oh, yeah.
And $1.
But what you did with that $1.
Yeah.
Well, did the script change on set a lot? Were you able to like play with it and improv a little bit, or did you film it pretty much as it was written?
We filmed it pretty much as written. We had a few tweaks, especially, there's a scene where Dana comes in and Allie and Jed are at the country house, and we definitely worked on making sure that there was a back and forth of insults. I feel like you're the embodiment of constipation happened within a rehearsal. Yeah. I said it about myself. Perfect. That's hilarious. We all know how to insult ourselves the best, I'm sure. But it was way easier to be improvisational in a movie that takes place now. Really hard to do so in a movie that takes place in the 90s, because we actually all speak really differently now. We really do. It's just totally different rhythm. Something has really been left behind. And so I think we didn't improvise a lot because we didn't want to slip into a more modern vernacular or rhythm or even tone of voice. There's so much more attitude, I feel like, now, because there's weird internet attitude. There's like a weird, oh girl kind of thing to everything now. Yeah. I have it. I do it. And I'm not, like a Jew from Boston. I don't know why I speak that way.
Were you just
make any sense?
Were you just immersing yourself in Friends reruns during the entire filming?
Well, my best friend saw the movie and he was like, I've never seen you play a dork before. You were such a Monica Geller. And I didn't think at the time I was, but I didn't think about it that way. I just tried to pair her sadness and her canopy of doubt with some sort of spirit, like dorky spirit that can't be crunched. But I guess Monica Geller is like that too.
Well, I have to say, one of my favorite moments in the movie is what I think is one of the funniest and also one of the most cringeworthy, when you're dressed as California raisins. Because there's something about that costume. It's such a perfect costume to make you go, oh God, whatever happens to them is going to be that much worse. Because they're dressed as allegedly dressed as California raisins.
Yeah.
I
was just going to say, I feel like we were in those costumes forever.
Most of it. Yeah, we were.
It's not a big part of the movie, but I feel like we had so many scenes in like unitards. There were unitards underneath.
That was the 90s.
Yeah, and then just trash bags. But it felt like 3 weeks out of this.
We were. I actually think that we were in those costumes so much because there are actually so many shots.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were. We were in those costumes all the time. It was crazy. It was really annoying after a while. It's because you gotta wear the bag the second before you go through hair and makeup because
yeah.
the bouffant gets ruined. So like you get to set, someone's like, you gotta get in the bag right away.
The bouffant was on point, though.
Yes.
I mean, your hair looked amazing.
Thank you.
What was the hardest scene to film? The trash bag scene.
I'm trying to think. They all. Yeah, you go. Yeah, it wasn't.
Oh, it's so easy.
No, you know what for me was hard. And I was the scene where Finn Wittrock says to me, you know, we all know that monogamy is just it's just not going to happen, and that scene has always been hard for me because it feels like a plot point to me. It just felt like a clunker, and I just wasn't sure how to be there. But I also realized like Dana is there because she has been trying to just go on her feelings and really doesn't know how to like work the lever there.
Yeah.
It's such a misstep to bring him to the play reading, you know, like that. And I have had friends that are having sort of like they have another relationship besides their primary one, and I've done stuff like, you should come out to dinner with me and so because they're starting to see if that person could be in their life. And it really doesn't seem weird to them in the moment. And so I had to focus at least on that moment, like suddenly it hitting her that she's just not like out of control, but that she's in the wrong world.
Yeah.
She's in the wrong world. Like that apartment is the wrong world. She keeps being like, why are we here? Why would they do that? Blah, blah, blah. Has forgotten to ask herself. And then when it's revealed to her right in her face and she realizes it's the wrong world, she just has to like literally give up her food and leave.
Yeah. And flee.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I loved that scene because it felt very much like those moments in your life when you are doing something and then somebody says something that pulls you up short and it really registers with you and you go, oh, I'm making all the wrong life choices.
Yeah.
I'm dropping this plate of food and I'm hightailing it out the door.
Gotta get out. Just get out. Just get out. Get out.
Never mind. It was shrimp anyway, and you would have gotten flushed.
How much shrimp can you eat?
Do you have any? And then you took the movie to Sundance. So what was doing Sundance like, especially for you? I mean, this is your first Sundance, right?
Yeah, it was my first time. My whole family was there. My 3 siblings, my mom and my stepdad, and they were 2 rows behind me. And originally they tried to get me to sit with them. And no, I just said no. Because, yeah, for obvious reasons. I had I had told my mom and my sister what was going to happen, but I did not tell my stepdad or my brothers, and they liked it. We haven't like explicitly talked about anything in the movie, but they liked it. But yeah, it was really, really fun. And it was like the first time after filming that we were all together again, and it was my first time seeing it, and I think, yeah, it was really, really fun.
Are you both able to watch yourselves?
Yeah.
Because I'm never gonna watch this video. I cannot watch myself.
Right. No, I do. I watch the movie, but I watch it. It's weird. It seems like I watch it while it is out in theaters or about to come out or at festivals, and then have to stop. Like I haven't seen Obvious Child since it came out, but I'm just watching it, trying to figure out what happened, because I know what I was doing from within. I'm often shocked by how it looks on the outside, and that's the kind of person and performer that I am. I'm just not really within the lines, but I do feel that I walk away feeling honest, and I'm just curious about what that's about. But it's hard, and I watch myself, and I have a million feelings and critiques, but I have to let them be there because that is like the final phase of whatever this art process is.
Yeah.
and then I can go again and learn more and do my job again, and hopefully do it just in a bit more developed way the next time.
Are you able to take things that you notice watching yourself and apply it to the next job?
Yeah, I think I am. I do. I pay close attention. And some of it is about memories. It's about being like, oh, I know what I was doing right before we shot this, and I shouldn't have been doing that. Like it's something only I'll notice, but now I pay a lot more attention to taking time for myself to ready myself for a scene. Because I used to think that was like maybe a little bit douchey. I didn't go to acting school, and I've struggled for a while with feeling like maybe I'm not a legitimate actress because I didn't go to a conservatory. And then now I just don't care about that point of view at all, and I don't relate to it. But I think, I just think I have to take more time for myself and respect that there is a process there.
Yeah. And did you train?
I went to Carnegie Mellon for a year, my freshman year, and then I left and moved to LA. So I've been there for 2 years now. But yeah, I did like theater all of my life, and a lot of musical theater, theater camps, and then thought I wanted to go to school for musical theater, but ended up getting into the acting program, which suited me a lot better than musical theater, I think.
So do either of you, since we have a room full of actors, do either of you have advice for actors starting out or trying to make it into a career?
Oh.
Okay. I feel like I can't really give people advice because I'd love to take some advice from other people, but I don't know. I feel like obviously I'm just starting, so it's easy for me to say this, but I don't think it's ever going to feel like the journey's over or like you've made it to some place because in terms of a career, that can stop at any moment, but you can, I don't know, you just can never stop evolving and learning, and I think that directly applies to acting, because if you stay in the same place, everything's gonna end up looking the same, and I think it's important to bring yourself into your work and, just grow and evolve, and if you love it or it makes you feel happy, just keep doing it. Yeah.
Well, Jenny, let me ask it a different way. What do you wish that you had known when you were starting out?
I wish that I had known that my gentleness, my preferences, and my capacity for delight are just as important as my drive and my courage. I think I really, when people would be like, it's about having a daily process as a performer and not like, read a play every day or something like that. It's about like having an integrated artistic life that's based on really finding little things to love. I would have been like, well, yeah, you can say that because you have a film career and you're just chilling out, like I'm stressed. I can't get in, and I wish that someone had told me that it will always prove that you're in, and the more you become yourself and give yourself sweet little daily happinesses, the more that you will get towards that big shiny thing that you think that you need. But that your life will be empty if you only have that one shiny thing, and you'll be weird. It's about that roundness. I'm so obsessed with it now, that roundness of experience, that integration into artistic living. And I always discounted my little delights. And I remember seeing the movie Amélie when I was in college and really identifying with how she, dips her fingers into the beans and loves people. And I remember thinking, I'm like that. I wish I could be anointed for that. I wish I could be singled out and I could be in a movie because of this. And I completely missed the point that I should enjoy being that way. And that the more I protected myself, the more I would feel strong enough to put myself out there and feel legitimate.
Well, that's just good life advice.
I guess so. It's all life advice, though. Whatever.
And
know.
that's actually all the time that we have also. And if I could just ask that you guys stay in your seats because these two have to go to JFK
You have to go on
and
an
catch a
airplane
flight.
now.
But thank you guys so much for coming out, and thank you guys so much
Thank
for,
you for having
sitting here and
us.
talking.
And if you like the movie, please tell your friends to go and see it this weekend. We could really use your support so that we can expand. Thank you, and tweet about it. Thank you.